Hey guys, it's Carla. Today I'm working on 140-pound cardstock paper with acrylic paint. I've got white, bright yellow, Caribbean, old ivy, and true blue, and I've got black. Alright, so I'm going to start with my background with just a flat synthetic brush. Get it wet. And I want a light area up here, but then I want to slowly bring in some of the blue. Most of this will be covered up, but it will show through in places. So this dark area right here is just kind of, I guess, maybe trees back there in the distance. Okay, and speaking of trees, I'm going to go ahead and start forming some, with my liner brush, forming some distant tree trunks. I want these to have a nice blue shade to them, but light. So I'm just going to start at the bottom and just start putting in some distant trees. Doesn't really matter how many, just whatever looks good to you. Okay, now I'm going to use my fan brush to kind of put in some foliage in those distant trees. And this is a hog bristle fan brush. I've got it fairly watered down. And I'm just loosely scumbling in some color. Again, a lot of this will be covered up, but gotta have it back there. Okay, now I'm going to dry this so that I can come back and put my sun rays in. Okay, now I've got this nice and dry, and with a hog bristle brush, this is a filbert, but you could use a flat brush or something, or a round one, but I'm going to use this filbert and get some white paint. And actually I need to I need some glazing liquid. So I'm imagining that my sun is right here. So I'm going to go down and out with my sun rays. And you can use a ruler for this if you feel more comfortable with it. But I'm just using the side of the brush, almost like I'm laying it down. And it's best to start off light and then come back and get bolder with it, but you don't want to start off getting too bold. Okay, now I want to add a little bit of color to those sunbeams. So I'm going to thin down some of this Caribbean color. A little bit more color. All right. Now I need to put in some of the foreground trees. I'm going to use my liner brush, but I'll come back with another brush and thicken them up. But this will just kind of show me where they are. So these are going to be darker than the ones in the background. So maybe one right here. Again, you can just decide how many and where you want them. All right, now I'll come back with my flat brush and thicken those up. Ooh, too dark. That might be almost good enough. I don't want the bottom of the trees to be thinner than the tops. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my fan brush and put in the ground and the foliage. So for the ground, just pick up some green. Maybe just start with that. And with this fan brush, I just want to get really loose with it. And then I can darken that. I'm pushing against the bristles, and that kind of helps give you a grassy effect. All right, now for my foliage and bushes and stuff, I'm gonna take some dark green, maybe a little bit of that blue. So down here, I'm going to have some kind of distant foliage. And I know it doesn't look distant yet, but it will. Again, I'm pushing against the bristles. It just gives me a softer texture. Now the way I'll make those look like they're in the distance is to bring those trees back in front of them, in front of these bushes. All right, back to my fan brush. I'm going to put in a little bit more yellow, but maybe a light yellow. Because in my mind, these sun rays would be shining down a light place right here. Okay, now I want these trees to have a shadow, so my light is coming from here, so my shadows are going to be cast off this way. So maybe just kind of a bluish gray shade. Maybe even some green in it. So my light source is here. Okay, so now I need foliage on the trees. So going back to my fan brush. Notice I'm turning and twisting my brush to create different shapes. Now, maybe shade of green. You want at least 3 or 4 different shades of green, because when you look at nature, you don't just see one or 2 shades. You see several. Okay, now I'm going to dry it and do one more thing to it. Okay, now I've got this dry, and using the hog bristle brush again, I'm going to put in a few more sun rays that are peeking through these front trees. I want to keep this angle in mind though. I want to keep them going the same angle. But just here and there between leaves and branches, there's going to be some light shining through. I'm just going to brighten up right here to kind of make my shadows stand out a little better. And that will give the illusion of the light shining through the trees. I'm just adding in a little bit of warmth to the sky in places. All right, I think that does it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, God bless you.